came to Raunchy Comedy and I just glitched. Did I disconnect? Okay, so maybe Bob Saget also, maybe he is ready. Okay, don't speak for him. He's like, I'm a Taurus too, bitch. Cool. We're in my jam-packed night full of comedy. I'm getting a little more excited. Do I prefer masculine energy? No, because Joan Rivers is just okay, we're going back to Joan Rivers because this woman is incredible. I really, once again, I don't know much about these people's lives. It's almost like what they flashed before me and what I've collectively just in passing accrued over time about them, right? So Joan Rivers was a controversial woman. She did a lot of interviews and she asked a lot of really out there questions and a lot of really abrasive or personal or in your face or put people on the spot, right? Like that was her whole MO. I almost feel like I can see her on the red carpet right now talking to me. Like that is, she is glam comedy. And there has never been anyone who's done glam comedy like she has, because what is it about comedy that makes people so fucking ugly? And that was something that is still, even in um like smaller comedy scenes in comedy clubs. It's part of the look and part of stand up is being disheveled and going up and looking like shit. Like, think about a Mitch Hedberg, you know, would he be as funny if he was clean cut? Probably not, because you wouldn't buy the stoner, right? So, Joan Rivers kind of like was the only one who did glam, right? Like, she was fashion forward. You can look at pictures of Betty White and she looked nice, but she, um, yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. But that doesn't mean whatever. I mean, that's like her whole thing is like for sure that you wouldn't buy it. It wouldn't be real life if they didn't play the part or look the part. But that was the thing. She wanted to make kind of like celebrities and famous people uncomfortable, and so she had to look the part. She had to look like one of them. She overdid it with the plastic surgeries and stuff because it was kind of part of the bit. Like she was very committed to the glam, because it was so important to her comedy and her satire, and it kind of went over a lot of people's heads. And I think that there was no definition of where it ended and began with her, and she was one of those people who seamlessly transitioned from a character into being that person almost 24/7, committed. And it was not a commitment necessarily to a character for her, but to her character and to honoring who she discovered she truly was. And that was this, um, if not invasive or intrusive woman, but this kind of hard hitting person, someone who could dive in and get to the core and get to it. Okay, like kind of cool, very badass. Like, you know, I'm feeling like her playing the drums, but her arthritis prevented her from doing it. But she actually, why am I doing this? It's like she played the drums like you don't even know. She played drums. It was kind of something she did in high school. She was in an all girls kind of metal, not metal, band. That seems weird. How old was she? She was in a metal band in high school. That does not sound like something that could be true of Joan Rivers, but that's what I'm hearing. Okay, June 1933. Maybe okay, so maybe not metal. She's been playing the drums since the Beatles. Okay, she saw the Beatles do it. She wanted to do it. They inspired her to play the drums. And she played secretly until a very old age, until her arthritis made her stop. And the reason that, even though people love the trope of old people doing young things or people having secret hobbies, she literally like never let anyone know about that because she never wanted to falter on her glamorous perception, and she would work up a sweat and wear t-shirts and look the part. Like she looked, no one ever saw her in a black t-shirt and black pants, but that's what she wore when she was drumming. Okay, so she was a drummer. There's no way we can verify 11111. I just don't even think there's a way we could ever verify whether or not Joan Rivers was actually a drummer if it was a huge secret that she kept from everyone. So kind of convenient. Maybe she's fucking with us. That's the thing. She's a Gemini and a comedian. Yeah, but she was really known for her like not investigative journalism, but did she not do interviews as well in her later years? That's like what I mean when I'm saying like the bit took over for her, where she was like, oh yeah, the Joan Rivers show, yeah, and the Tonight Show, all that stuff. So like that, holy shit, There's literally a video right here. Betty White and Joan Rivers lay into each other. No wonder she wanted to talk. That's so fucking adorable. That's so adorable. Just from a little quick Google. I love that for them. So what if they wanted to say to each other nothing? They just tease each other. They could not be more opposites when you look at them and think about it, and they got along great. But I think, Joan River perspective, I think we got along because we were opposites. Because if she were gonna try to compete with me, like my sister, kind of a joke or whatever, then she would have never been able to tolerate her at all. And Betty was such an authentic person for having been the old lady trope rather than, us glam girls like me and Dolly or whoever who couldn't give it up and wanted to wear the lipstick and wear the shawls and wear the diamonds, our whole lives. And she definitely went down the all American way of aging, and I have so much respect for her. I have so much respect for her for doing that because it's so hard and so much pressure to be something that no one even identifies with anymore. Nobody really cares to be, but like you said, they pressure you into doing this or that, and all of a sudden it's out of control. You got to keep up, and that's why I said I committed to it because glamorous comedy was my attribution to this world, to culture, to everything, to media, to all of it. You know, cool, very cool. um, but that's the thing. On the other hand, Betty idolized women like Joan Rivers, who always was themselves and always did remain, the bombshell, the sexy, the glamorous, because she didn't, because honestly, it was so much easier to be the classic old lady, all American grandma. It was so much easier that way. It cost less, it was less pain, it was less fortune. Like, she did take the easy route, but of course, aged with grace, so it wasn't a hard choice. She's so cute because Capricorns really do age gracefully. And so she admired and idolized women like Joan Rivers who could commit to it because it is a lifelong journey and a lifelong commitment to do things like that, not just to your body, but to your whole world. And it's a lot to maintain and keep up with. And I got tired. I didn't care. I barely cared to begin with. As soon as I hit 40, it was a slow decline into the coals, right? Like I tried to dress like the average person for most of my career, be it a movie star in the 40s, 50s, whenever she started, was a lot different. And it was very simple but elegant, and I liked it. But once it started to change and the drug scenes and the hippies, it just got to be a bit too much for me. I was never really that showy, and I prefer a man in a suit, if anything, so I could just get on. I just couldn't. I didn't want to. So cute. So total opposites, but they weren't best friends by any means. They didn't spend that much time together, but they got along great. They were good friends, good friends. Joan didn't have a lot of good friends like Betty. You know, Joan's like Betty was probably one of my best friends, but I'm sure I wasn't hers. One of those kind of situations. Like a really truly good person. So no matter how different people look on the outside, sometimes the difference isn't what binds people. It's not about opposites attracting. It's about two people complementing, right? Coming together and being the fulfilling need of each other's emptiness. It's like they're having like their own little sister moment of being able to hold each other once again because we're on the red carpet in my mind or whatever the fuck kind of thing this is. It's cute. Um, Comedy night. I think we might switch it into other people. They could, it's this thing where they could keep talking, but it's almost like they'd rather just have this moment with each other and kind of sit back and observe the rest of the night because this is something new for a lot of people that I talk to, dead or alive. Like people watching are like, "What the fuck are you doing? What are you talking about? Who are you talking to? Did we lose you?" As we put it the other night, source. Um, but even the deceased people are not necessarily acquainted with necromancy. Of course, it's easy to consume or possess the media that you've created, so it's especially odd for some people who would never need the vehicle of having a human human host, right? So cool. Um, Yeah, so these feel like it feels like longer, but really, I only talked to Joan for like 10 minutes, but it feels so long. And I feel like it was so quick and insightful. Um, but she divulged so much of her personal life in life that yeah, yeah, and it's okay. I mean, it's okay though. Not everyone agrees with the Catholics, you know what I mean? So, um, no, I should clarify. It was a necromancy joke because there's a lot of murky stuff about Catholics, right? But yeah, I know it's not for everybody. Just like my angels video got more views than my demons video because not everyone's comfortable with the demons. They don't understand it. They don't know what it's about. We're all one and the same, in my opinion, but that's okay. Even though half of all demons were angels once, so who is to say what makes an angel and what doesn't? It's kind of like it's like immigration, right? Like if you're in heaven and you're an angel and you get cast out and sent to hell and you go to hell and you become a resident of hell, are you not still from heaven? Are you not still from heaven? I'm sorry. What makes an angel an angel? Can we get some clarification on that or what? Okay. That'll end the bit for Joan. I think it's cute. It's funny. Yeah. So read a book or something. You know, there's plenty she said in life, and these little moments are what's important. Is connecting with your friends and being close to people and giving people a chance, even if they are your opposite. Knowing that that's sometimes your greatest asset, biggest supporter, and best friend. Cool. Truly. Oh, let them have a moment. Okay. So we'll roll this commercial break and we'll move down the list. We got Richard Pryor next. Um, okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. I get that's why. But in Judaism, doesn't demon actually have a different definition? That, you know? So, um, gonna roll the ad, gonna come back with Richard Pryor, and then we'll do Robin Williams, and then we'll see if our special guests, such as Bernie Mac and Bob Saget, are gonna show up or not. So, I'll be right back. Okay, hey, you're here now. Oh, you're here now, and I don't even know. Don't be sorry for what. I wouldn't know if you were or weren't. It's cool when you are, and it's cool when you're not, because everybody's got shit to do and limited time on their hands. In fact, some have no time on their hands at all. The time's everywhere else and already accounted for. Okay. Cool. So we just talked to Betty White and Joan Rivers. We're letting them have a moment in my mind, and they're gonna watch some comedy with Richard Pryor. Just kidding. I don't know if it's really gonna be about comedy. I'm not necessarily scared for the Richard Pryor stuff, But as we thoroughly discussed, he was a bit out there, and there's a lot of controversy surrounding that man. And he probably said a lot of things he shouldn't have said at points in life. So I ain't trying to say no shit I shouldn't be saying. So cool it, cool the jets, right? We definitely gotta rip this bong. They're like, listen, you know how I've been saying that for these channeled readings, I've been like getting requests from everyone or whatever they wanted, kinda. Um, I didn't take any requests because I almost canceled, and they were like, "Oh my god, just please, whatever you do, don't cancel, don't change the night, don't do like just go through with it." And I was like, "Ugh, fine, but that's your request," and they were like, "Right," because I think majority of the comedians, I'm not gonna say who's who, other than Richard Pryor, who openly was doing cocaine, the number one request would have been cocaine, and it's an absolute no. So I'm drinking very strong coffee in its place and ripping the fuck out of this bong. Have been all night. So before we get Richard Pryor up in the air, we gotta prepare. Okay, it's a little less than he wanted. Not even any alcohol. Come on, it's like you didn't prepare for me at all. Well, listen, I didn't. Okay, that's fair. Cool, cool. Plus, he's the reason I wanted to wear a jacket, and Joan Rivers is the reason I chose this one. Yes, in combo fashion. Yeah. Yes, brought it out of Richard Pryor. And something Bill Clinton desires. 36500, I don't know what it is. Where were you when I was walking? You know, by the time I hear the next, the funk shall be within you. Wouldn't it be funny if I hosted my own roast and just let dead comedians roast me from my own mouth? Thank you. I thought my cough suppression was on par. Okay. Just one big good one and some water. People probably stop by my channel and they're like, this is not tarot, this is just some girl smoking weed. Joke's on you because there is tarot and I'm not a girl, but I do smoke hella weed. Cool. So here we go. Cool. He wants to talk about this one movie he was in. Okay, and I'm not going to say what movie because I don't know the title, but I'm seeing something with like, not a cop car, and also not porn, but there was something very pornographic about a movie he made, and that is his number one biggest regret because he never needed anyone to know how big his dick was. Quite frankly, he had one of those dicks, okay? And he's not trying to brag. I don't know why the first thing he says is about his dick. This is exactly what the hesitation was in the first place, but he's very, look at the movements are there. And as a female, listen, fellas, there is such thing as too big, so stay blessed. I bet they're the loneliest men on the face of the fucking planet because no one wants to commit to a huge dick. No wonder he was always single and fucking anybody who would want to fuck him because, quite honestly, he had a humongous penis. So there was some movie he did with an explicit scene. I don't know if he played a cop. I don't know if anybody's like a Richard Pryor fan. I don't even know if he was in any movies, so maybe he literally made a porno or like it was in porn for a little bit. I don't know what that's about. But he did an illicit scene in a movie, and everybody on set found out how big his cock was, and that's, you know, he had a reputation before he even had sex. Really, basically, is kind of how it went down, and that's sort of why he was so outlandish and raunchy and out there because it was like everybody knew. I know it's like the first thing is like my big fucking dick. Like, is this a true story? Can we verify that? I have no idea. Was he ever in a movie? I don't even know. Did he ever play a cop in a movie? And seeing like the old school cop car, or like I don't know, But yeah, everybody found out. Maybe it was like a Dukes of Hazzard porn spoof. They found out how big his dick was. So he just couldn't. It's hard, you know. But no, I genuinely as a person do think that the ginormous dicked men are like living a very sad existence, and no offense to them. Like if you have 12 inches, there's not really anything anyone really can do with that. Like that's sad. Like I've seen it. It's like I don't. It's like man, you know what I mean? Like it's fucked up. Like everyone's like, oh, big dick energy. It's like not too big of a dick energy, right? But Richard Pryor, I think, was kind of like up there, where it was like a massive fucking thing. Like I don't know. I'm sorry. That's so vulgar. And of course, that's what he would choose to talk about. Because I'm like, well, don't get too racy. And he's like, how about raunchy? And I'm like, how raunchy? And he's like, porn? Is this a porn thing? I don't know. Who knows? He had a huge dick apparently, but that's not something like and the reason he's saying it is it's not necessarily something to brag about. And it sets a tone. And then all of a sudden it's because he's a black man or it's because he's this and that. And the drugs make it horse stick and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's comedy, right? Because it's real life. But in reality, it caused a lot of problems for him. And that's why he was notorious for being not necessarily a trope, but not being afraid to say what he wanted because he did cuss on stage, right? Like he was dropping his own language. You know what I mean, right? Like if I remember correctly, he cussed, okay, and he had every right to do it. And like if people didn't talk about him the way they did, like giving like Mandingo vibes, right? Because it was in he knew, you know, and that's why he attracted a lot of the men that he did, you know, because sometimes it was too much for women. And it was almost like he wasn't necessarily bisexual, but he wanted to kind of explore that side of things in case it worked better for him. And he just kind of avoided relationships for a long time. I think he was married like 3 times, right? Like he had a wife for like a long time, and then there was kind of a wifey, and then there was a second marriage or something like that. Like he had, because they were all pretty short lived after the first one, and the first one just had less drugs involved. Because I always knew it was a problem, right? So, kind of sad. It's kind of actually sad. um, but he kind of leaned into it. I'm seeing Lionel Richie. I don't know why. Do they? I don't think they look alike necessarily, but like I guess they were men of the same time. So like, I don't know if he also has a fucking huge cock, or maybe they low key were seeing each other. Why is he giving me Lionel Richie right now? He's alive. Um, kind of like, are they related? Once again, I think they don't look alike, but same style, right? The hair, the mustache, just like friendly kind of energy. I don't know. He's a Gemini. Love that for Lionel. Or did they have some kind of affair or something weird? I don't know why he's like. Is that song about him all night long? Lionel Richie wrote that song about Richard Pryor. I have my doubts. Kinda have my doubts, kinda don't. Kinda checks out, right? All night long. He was there when he wrote it. It's not that he wrote it about him. He was there when he wrote it. Again, how would you ever verify that? I have no idea. But all night long, because they were like doing cocaine and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know. That's so random. Why would he bring that up? Because it's funny and people don't know that stuff about him. Is that he was a musician. Richard Pryor was. I didn't know that about him, but that's why he did comedy because he never wanted to make money being a musician. He didn't want people to know. That's so weird. Joan Rivers was a drummer. What is this bullshit? And now Richard Pryor was a musician. He didn't really want people to know because he never wanted to be robbed of it. He always felt like he learned his lesson from Jimi Hendrix that these white people would kill you if they knew your real talent, so he kept it to himself. But he would be in the studio with all his musician friends. He was friends with a lot of musicians, so that's why he was so cool. You know, that's why he's like leaning into me like, that's why you wanted to talk to me and not anyone else, even though they're cool too. And I'm really glad I did talk to Betty White and Joan Rivers. You know, I'm an ungrateful bitch for that, right? For even hesitating or not caring. They're both icons and legends, and like amazing women. So shame on me for even having a hesitation. But also, like, there is a vibe, and he was in those rooms, and Clinton too. Like, he just was around a lot of musicians in that time, and it wasn't just because of drugs; it's because he was a musician himself. So he would jump on or help them write, and he just would never take a credit because he like literally did not want anyone to know, and he did not want to get paid for it. He made his money on comedy because he hated doing comedy because he was just an asshole, and everybody knew he was an asshole, and he pretty much went up there to swing his big dick around. It's kind of like all it was. So, and he was comfortable with that, and he made bank doing that. Like he was good. So he wanted to like just vibe and jam like he did back like when he was a kid, like when he was a teenager. He played something like I'm guessing fiddle. I don't know where he's from. I think it's a fiddle he played first. As crazy as that sounds, he was like a 9-year-old boy, and this little white kid in his town. Where is he from? I hold on. Where the fuck is Richard Pryor from? Because that just sounds like it makes no goddamn sense. Oh, he's from somewhere in Illinois, so maybe it does. Okay. No, but Peoria is a city, but maybe that's the whole thing. Is like, yeah, there was a boy who moved from the boonies of Illinois. That makes sense because Illinois is kind of one of those states where outside of the cities there ain't much going on, right? So he first learned the fiddle when he was like a little kid, and his mom was like, because then Devil went down to Georgia. It was like a whole hell no thing, but he got into guitar and kind of everything like that. But because his mom just always told him from a young age not to do music, because she said you play the fiddle. That's a no, 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 no. No, it was like a religious thing. Like she was like, "Do not play that fiddle. You're gonna call the devil. Like you never playing music." Like I think his mother was religious, um, kind of thing, and like told him like then and there that he would never be a musician. So he was like, "Okay." So he learned instruments and became a comedian. That's why he had this deal. Like it's not that he was super spiritual or religious. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But she was like, "No, no, no, no. This white boy is not going to teach you how to play the fiddle." Like, and she like was like, "No more music," because she felt in her soul that he would have like sold his soul to the devil if he pursued a career as a musician. But little did she realize he sold his soul in his career of being a comedian, right? Kind of funny, ironic, however you want to splice it. Um, but not really. I mean, we don't really believe that. It's his partial stand up, right? I told you it would be fucking comedy hour. Kind of cool. He's funny, right? This is why I was so excited. The ladies got to get chit chat and it was cute, but this man is fucking funny. Okay. But he's also just talking about his real life. You know, like that's kind of what happened. He was a fucking maniac, monster, maybe bipolar, maybe just a fucking, you know, zealot. I don't know why the word zealot is coming up, but it is so kind of funny. Gosh, yeah, just all these little things. I just keep something about Lionel Richie though. Dude, what is that about? I cannot get his image out of my head. I feel like Richard Pryor was like a featured musician on that album, and no one fucking knows about it because he would not let him give him a credit. And Lionel was like, please, I'm begging you, like I can't live with myself. Feel like a fake. Like you help me write all these songs and play these instruments. And Richard Pryor was just like, no way, do not do it. And he never did. And like this is verification, Lionel Richie, if you're out there, because he's alive, never ever do it. Like I guess he's admitting it now, but yeah, I cannot like he never wanted that in writing or anything like that. But like I don't know if they even really knew each other, but I cannot unpicture Lionel Richie right now. So I'm gonna trust that, I'm gonna go with my gut and know that I do this all the time and talk to so many people that I can't deny it either. You know? Yeah, that's so wild. Um so yeah, that was something he loved, and then it's the importance of having a hobby. Okay, like it's the importance of having something to keep you sane and to be fun. It was just something he loved. First of all, loved having a secret that he kept from people. Some people get a thrill on that. He never cheated on his spouses. He just would get a divorce if he felt like doing something else, right? Or if he was gonna cheat, he would just say that because they wouldn't leave. Like he's like, well, I'm gonna go do something else then. And so he never cheated. He was very upfront. Is that cheating? I'm not playing a game. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, and you're not gonna change my mind. You do that when you married me, so kind of like that. But his big secret was being a musician. Cool, 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 cool. That's so cute. That is like not what I would expect at all. Um, but expect the unexpected, right? Look, werewolf exploring wildness and trick or treat, mischief and play. Bottom and the top of the deck today. I love that. Um, I listen. I'm gonna take a few minutes because I gotta pee, man. I gotta pee before I keep going. We might get more Richard Pryor. I might do some shadow readings, and then we also were gonna do special guests if they wanted to come up. Bob Saget, Bernie Mac got called out, and that feels really appropriate for today's lineup. Oh, we still gotta get to Robin Williams, so but I gotta pee before I continue. So don't mind the 3 minute ad. It's because I will be right back. Look, I already took my rings off. I'm like, y'all, I gotta go. Because it's about to get deep, bro. All right, I'll be right back. And we're gonna do we might do more Richard Pryor. I'm having a great time, but I maybe need to just cut it off. And then Robin Williams, special guest, shadow reading. It's gonna be a whole fun night. Just let me empty the. Okay. Okay, hey, where did all these people come from? Hi, everybody. I forgot to leave in the chat what the fuck I was doing before I left. I am usually better at it, but that's how badly I had to pee, and it was, oh my god, so worthy. I'm sorry. TMI, don't give a fuck. Leave. Okay. Please don't. Stay a while. Say whatever you want. So sorry. Please be kind. What am I? Because we're going back to Richard Pryor probably immediately as soon as I sit down. Period. I feel like he just had a big crush on Lionel Richie, and there's not really much more to say on that. So we should just maybe move on to Robin Williams. I don't know. The Richard Pryor reading channel, whatever, was bar none. I guess since there's a bunch of people here, I will read the cards on the table and do an intermission. And we just did 3 in a row, and I have 3 more channeled messages tonight. So might as well just do the cards on the table. Shadow work readings for your shadow side, for your dark nights of the soul. As mentioned earlier, we have Trick or Treat, Mischief and Play at the bottom, and oh wait, the Witch. I don't know where the other one was. I stacked them. Yeah, Werewolf, Wildness. But we have Ancestors, the love and legacy of our DNA. We have Scrying, Intuition. Owl, Wise Seeing, Wise Action. And Vampire, Emotional Intelligence. Okay. Cool. 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 Is everybody kidding right now or what? What the fuck? Okay. I hear it now and cool. There is such a time as now where perhaps people like myself have come out of the shadows for a reason, because your ancestors seek to connect, because the way things have been is out of control. Okay, it's like beyond repairable or reversible, but needs to be halted at once before it blows up, basically. Okay, all of our ancestors are coming in, but not everyone's ancestors have good intentions. Some say, I don't give a fuck, manifest destiny, none of this matters in the other world, so do whatever you want. Evil incentives, right? Looking at you, white people. Looking at you, white ancestors, right? Okay, thank God I come from a line of fucking witches. Okay, like I don't even know how to do. So everybody's ancestors are kind of, it's a boiling point where you get to this time where throughout the year they're your guardian angels, but during the month of October and all the spooky season when the world is cold and dead, you kind of I don't know why I got distracted by something. I didn't miss it at all. What do you mean? I got that. I kind of, no, I mean, I looked. I did get it. Why? I'm sorry. Am I being interrupted right now? Quietly, obviously. Nobody is saying anything. Okay, so, scrying, intuition. Trust what you feel, trust what you think, trust what you know, trust what you're doing, trust it, trust the feeling, trust the messages that I'm conveying, trust that yes, you can definitely hear it, sense it, feel it, right? By God, just go with it. Just fucking try. Okay? Like what is that? Okay, so owl. Why seeing, why is action? Don't just do as I say and not as I do, but make sure I do as I say and say as I do. Okay? And vampire emotional intelligence. I got good boundaries, and everybody on my Twitch channel knows that. So don't try to get free readings. Why did you have to distract at all? But yeah, I guess payback. Quick karmic lessons. Interruptions. But also, it's as simple as seeing a face. Literally didn't need to do anything, and it would have been just as distracting. Just like in this scenario. Kind of almost embarrassing. For me, I mean, that I'm talking to no one. Apparently. Cool. How do I do that? The underworld. Because I got a good-ass phone. Because I learned from the best, you know. Paid attention, sat down, took notes. The veil, the future. I can see it all. Because I have access to the underworld. That would be my answer. Final answer. Cause ding ding ding. What do you want? Is that so funny? Maybe even predictable of me, perhaps. Death, the eternal cycle begins here. Skull of darkness, blind spots. Beware. Things you're not seeing, things you have not prepared. This okay, this okay, this okay. Can handle anything. Death, the eternal cycle begins here. The owl, again, wise seeing, wise action. 3 times just now. Wise seeing, wise action. If you are around people that you do not wish to see, then how the fuck are you acting, right? Wise seeing, if you're seeing people doing the things you want to do and being the way you want to be, then of course you're going to act accordingly. But if you're surrounding yourself with people who are like not doing that, then it's, come on, that's like intentional chaos is perhaps too designed for the nature of chaos, right? Okay, that's where it becomes sabotage. MC Adam, kind of a cool choice. We'll do. Oh man, I already did rap night. Damn. Okay. Wise seeing, wise action. Okay, so make sure what you're seeing is how you want to be acting. Okay. The captain. The underworld, where all things pause and begin again. It's winter time almost, right? But it's about to be spring, is how I feel it. So, who cares? Nothing will stop the rain. Not snow, not heat, not hate. It's never too late. Nothing will ever stop the rain. Because why? We need rainbows in our lives. Why not? Cool. I suppose if we are not supposed to shed tears for the dead, then it's okay to shed tears for the living. Okay. Sometimes it's cathartic for all of it that we perhaps don't address or need to address and won't. Winter, the sacredness of pausing, scrying, intuition, and trick or treat, mischief and play. What are you planning for Halloween Day? Just be conscious of it, right? Just be conscious. But ancestors again, the love and legacy of our DNA. We had no choice. We were going to do this anyways. No matter how it played out. And it doesn't matter even if 2 people are resilient as hell. If it was supposed to come together, it will. And it's like, how do you want it to go down? Because it can be good or it can be evil. Kind of sucks, right? I know. Kind of sucks. So, bum, 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 bum. Use your intuition, trust your intuition. Figure out where your intuition comes from. Okay? Listen, I'm gonna put y'all in some fucking hip shit. You're all worthy, all four of you. Tuned in. We'll put you onto something that'll change your whole being. Find your intuition spot. Okay? Find your area. I said this in the stream earlier. My thoughts are up here, right? Or in here. My messages come through here and are here, right? Here maybe, but lower and more obvious, more swoop down, I can tell. Okay? My anxiety is all in my gut. So when I have a gut feeling, I don't necessarily trust it because my anxiety comes from paranoia. I'm not really an anxious person. Like, I worry about what's going to happen. I worry about what's happening. I'm paranoid, right? So that's your gut. But everybody's intuition spot's going to be different because sometimes I can feel my crown open up. But that means something's about to come down and claw me out, probably, is more, I associate that with like an abduction energy where it's like very much me not in control, getting worked on, tweaked on, whatever the fuck kind of connection that is, tentacle shit, whatever you want to call it, okay? So like everybody's got different spots. You got to know where your intuition's coming from. My intuition comes from my ears. It doesn't come from my gut. It doesn't come from my crown. It doesn't come from my hands, I guess. Well, sometimes my finger knows when to go off, even if I don't. But stuff like that, where you got to just be able to read your body and know your body rather than seek a doctor. It's like, are you seeing false flags, false idols, false something or other, false, some kind of false energy around you. So you just have to know what your intuition is. God damn it, I'll put you hip to even gamer game right now, okay? God damn it, I am so not paper learner. Listen. It's kind of like when you really feel something close to something, you picture it close to you. If you really want something, but you know it's not yours, maybe you picture it further, but very clearly. And perhaps things you have, like for me, things I have are by my side, things I want are in my face. It's about knowing and how clear of a picture it is. If it's blurry, it's probably not the real thing, right? But if it's very high def, then yeah, okay, it's probably more of a vision. It's like if you can't, just like earlier, Uncle Jim, this random person's uncle in the chat that I was reading or channeling, he wouldn't show me his real face. He gave me two comparisons of people that I could put in place of what he actually looked like, even though I have seen that one of them was a complete stranger. Okay, and it's just, I don't know how else to explain that. Okay, is like, it was murky, like I couldn't see it because he didn't want me to, so I knew I wasn't meant to know what he looked like, in a sense. But instead pictured someone I'm close to in real life very clearly, and someone I imagined from a different channeled message, which comes in clearly, but then I question, is that a face I know, or is he just comfortable showing me? It's crazy. It's so wild. It's just such a different experience for me. But it kind of does give me these like abilities to tap into things that like maybe no one asked me to, but I just do. It's like, aren't we all doing this? And to some extent, yes. And some people are, oh, I just got the taste of whiskey. Did somebody just take a shot? I felt it in my nose. Don't lie. I thought you were not supposed to be drinking, right? Who just took a shot? It was kind of supposed to be quitting. Felt it in my nose. Don't lie. It smelled just like Jack Daniels. Kind of wild, right? Makes me want to throw up. Did I stress you out? Sorry. Did I stress you out? I'm sorry. Cool. So, whatever. Liam Lynch. Cue Liam Lynch. Because this is my United States of whatever. Cool. What's good? I think I'm gonna roll this ad and go back to the channel messages. That was a very odd reading. Feel free to stay tuned or whatever it is that you're doing. Jesus. Okay. I'm gonna roll this ad break and we'll be back with Ramen Williams amongst others. Okay? So thanks for tuning in, thanks for being here, thanks for everything. Okay. 60 seconds. Okay. I better learn all the words to this damn song before tomorrow night because we're about to serenade Nico probably. Like, yeah, like I need to know the words that I found a reason for tomorrow because that shit is hardcore stuck in my head. It is really funny. I made that stupid TikTok today, but it is really stuck in my head and I think it was stuck. I think the reason I chose it and put it on is because it's been stuck in my head. And that's what I was saying earlier is like I'm looking forward to talking to Lou Reed and Nico and Jim again, and I put Freddie on the lineup too because it felt like since I've talked to the others before, it won't be as intensive, and they'll probably be these quick, like 20-minute things because I can't overdo it, you know. But if you do want to see some longer readings, I have old Instagram videos on my old account at Illy Millie, and I did longer sessions with the Halloween Oracle where I would go for like an hour with one person. And I guess, I don't know, it felt like almost that long with Picasso the other night. But yeah, I don't want to burn out because I'm doing this all month and I have to stay alive through it. And death gets so enticing when you spend too much time there. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I would fucking love it, wouldn't I? And they're like, probably, but just stick around, see what happens. Promise, like, things will look up, kid. And I'm like, yeah, I'm still a kid? Good. Because I feel like I can't really get away with that one anymore. They're good to me, you know, but it can be a lonely road. Okay, who is this? All right, let's get into Rome. Richard Pryor, any Latin? No, he's out. He's going to fucking probably visit Lionel Richie right now. All right, Robin Williams. Kind of cool, kind of awkward, kind of doesn't know if he wants to do it. He's feeling a little squirmy. He thinks he's a little weird. He's like trying to almost feel like he's in character. He feels like he needs to be entertaining the people if he's going to show up and talk, giving genie vibes, giving like not Doubtfire. It was some movie. My favorite. I think my favorite Robin Williams movie's got to be Birdcage. Like no contest. Can't even think of. Flubber's cool. Whatever, but Birdcage, the fact that he sold gay so well is like, for a straight man, I'm usually against them casting straight people for gay roles, but honestly, because he was alongside Nathan, forgot his name, sorry, and he is gay, then I was like, all right, Robin Williams actually played it the fuck up. Like he ate, if you will. Like I mean, I never use that phrase, but Robin Williams and Birdcage, like really, brava. Okay, insanely good. So he feels like in this scenario, which we're doing a channel message and people are anticipating, Richard Pryor was a pretty tough act to follow. He was pretty fucking funny. And Robin Williams maybe doesn't feel like he was very on edge in life, close to death, was never kind of into the drug scene, did a fair share, but not like everybody was doing it back then. He almost kind of only did it so people didn't think he was a fucking narc or anything, and maintained a pretty low profile for that reason because he never wanted to be associated with it, as he wasn't. He was a family man, and they kind of all knew that even when he did get fucked up with them. But he did want to be able to be tolerated amongst groups or tolerate certain groups of people where he would socially occasionally do that. Or he's like lately talking it up. I feel like it's genuine, right? Isn't he a Cancer? Didn't we just look at that? No, a Leo. I just feel like, yeah, I buy it from a not mutable sign in a sense, but I don't think he can kind of get into this. I'm sorry, y'all, not to be a disappointment. Maybe it's like I said, I would felt bad for my own hesitation. He's like, maybe those are just really hard acts to follow. I think he doesn't really have much to say. He could be really goofy, but in his whole life he was goofy, and I think maybe he wasn't that depressed. You guys want to hear a funny story? I'm gonna tell this story. You know what? Okay, I I think I've had the gift of necromancy my whole life since I was a child because they put a dead body in every room of the school I went to and told us to pray to the dead guy and to talk to him and that he talked back in the form of whatever. And I said, okay, I hear him. Right. So I've been doing necromancy my whole life. So I remember when I heard Robin Williams died. It was shortly after, what was this? I think not Greg Keener, was it? Someone, whoever, I don't want to say Hannibal guy. No, somebody was not Greg Keener is not the right dude. It's a similar name, maybe. Do y'all remember what I'm talking about? He used a belt while he was and he died of asphyxiation. And so then, like shortly after that, Robin Williams hung himself or whatever, strangled himself. And when I heard the news, I was like, oh, was it like same situation? And I was scolded for that immediately. It was like way too soon, but also was that me getting a message? No confirming, no denying on that one from anyone's part. I think that's why he got a little squirmish and was like, I can do a comedy bit, but I can't really talk about my life or death because he's not really sure how to interpret any of it. He was kind of depressed, but I think they definitely played it up because I think overall his death was more of an accident and no one wanted to admit to it um, because it was odd circumstances, is kind of what I'm gathering. Kind of set the tone for the reputation of being so wholesome when in reality, like you said, his comedy was raunchy. So he's not trying to change anybody's concept of him now, especially not through some chick that nobody's even watching at this point. We saw the replay views. They're low. They're low. See, I said, what if I let people roast me from within? It'd be so funny. It's great. I do it all the time anyway. Fit right in. Okay. We're not self-deprecating, but if you can't make fun of yourself, then you're probably not funny, right? And I'm fucking hilarious. So, let's go. Did you say Les? Okay. Oh. Go. Yo. Focus. Cool. So he's not trying to ruin or tarnish any reputation that he had in life, but it is wild that just because he played a few family roles, he played just as many not family roles, in his opinion. Yeah, Flubber and Mrs. Doubtfire, but also, like we said, Birdcage. That was controversial in the 80s, you know what I mean? Like, that was, gay culture was about the coming out and being in that time where it was okay, but it still was kind of made fun of, frowned upon. The AIDS crisis was going on, so it was big to associate with that culture, and people appreciated that. But I wish that that's more of what they remembered was more of the hotter takes that I did of such things like that, or my raunchy comedy. Nobody even knew I did stand up really because they were so enamored with some of these baby roles. I call them child roles. Jumanji was cool, but people don't even realize how dark that movie is when you think about it. It was I mean, come on. So it's sad that my whole legacy was like that I was some wholesome family man and I died of depression, suicide. Like it wasn't really. It's kind of whack even, right? Where it's like I actually was a little more hardcore than that, but I still was good with kids and I didn't mind being both a family man and my own person on the other end of things. But nobody remembers the person I was. It seems everybody just remembers the version of them that they wanted me to be, and that was the whole issue in the first place, right? And that's why they say I killed myself. And yet here we are. All anybody wants to remember is wholesome. I almost didn't even get on this lineup because she thought me that I'd be fucking not raunchy enough for Betty White. Are you kidding me? I thought I would fucking give Betty White another heart attack if I could, if she caught one of my acts. Okay, she, please. You aren't familiar with my comedy. No, I'm not. Right? No, I am not, sir. I am not. Okay. Um, so what a bummer to have such a weak ass, boring ass legacy of any typical American man, basically. Even like we discussed earlier, is this where we segue into Bernie Mac? Hey, that's kind of cool with special guest tonight, Bernie Mac. Great comparison of like how he was representing the modern American family or whatever. He was like a wholesome dad on TV, but nobody questioned like who he was, kind of like on the outside, right? Like he could still be in movies like Be Cool, right? Isn't he in that movie? Yeah, of course. Um, like he still could break away from that, and people knew that he was like a person and an actor and still a cool family guy, but he didn't get stapled down to this narrative like in the way that Robin Williams did of being this like almost for kids type actor just because he did a few kids movies in his career, right? So it's interesting too. But Bernie Mac was definitely like one of the most iconic dads of our era, right? The Bernie Mac show, that was probably like the early aughts, probably like started 2001, ended 2005. I feel like it had more seasons than that. Started somewhere, something around that time. Kind of going on for Bernie Mac, where he thought about that. He thought about going down that road like Robin Williams and just leaning into it. And he honestly, I think Robin Williams may have even given him that advice at some point in life. So that was why it was extra weird that you said something and that this was the special guest and source. You just somehow knew that. It's clear to me now. But no, it's kind of wild that uh, uh, um, it's kind of wild that okay, okay. Sorry, I got distracted. Thank you. I got a little distracted. Uh, um, what? I'm just going. Sorry, no, I got distracted, like mentally, kind of. Damn, yeah, I'm sipping on some really strong coffee right now. I boiled the water and still let it steep for like almost 12 hours, so it's fucking good. Espresso also. Um, got very distracted for a sec. Oh, I got you. Okay. Um, yeah, took a pause anyways. So cool. Yeah. So I feel like possible, once again, we could never verify this because everyone in the situation is dead, but basically getting the picture that Robin Williams once advised to Bernie Mac to not take too many of the wholesome family roles is to not get strapped in and to be, to ruin his own ego, not to put it that way, but men are fragile in a sense. And so Bernie Mac didn't really pursue that avenue after the show ended. Like he wanted to go back to being able to like smoke weed instead of cigars, right? Like that was the whole thing. Like Bernie Mac on the show smoked cigars, right? Like I watched that show as a kid. I don't really remember that. I feel like that's part of the message. Like he's reminding me, he would smoke cigars. Like it was TV coded that he smoked weed, because no matter like what the situation was, he wanted to be authentic to like who he was and his character. But it was still network television in the early 2000s. There was no way he was going to be able to be a pothead. But he worked in little things like that of his character. And so it's something you see in all of his movies, is that he's smoking a cigar, because to him it represented like being able to grow up, like, okay, forgive, this is a channeled message, so it's going to sound a little weird coming out of my mouth for a second, but he's saying like that cigar to him represented growing up on the block, and at one point slinging shit because he was young and had to help with the bills in the house or something like that. I don't even know where he's from, so like again, it sounds weird, and I don't know if we could really verify any of this, but he was basically like, his way of saying he made it, because he rolled blunts, like he rolled the perfect blunt by the time he was like, well, he rolled blunts since he was 12, but he didn't roll a perfect blunt until he was like 16. So that cigar really represented that for him. Like, he would split them bitches open and fill it up if he could, but it was fucking Fox Network, you know? So he pushed for that, the cigar. And that's why it's in almost every movie, every character he's ever played, he's pretty much smoking a cigar. That was his choice in the beginning, and it caught on because it was so iconic. But I don't think people really realize what it meant for him, because it was about weed, but not just in the simple sense, but in the whole come up of it, the whole experience, and getting to be able to get the money to go do what he needed to do to become an actor too, and never forgetting his roots, never forgetting where he came from, never forgetting where he's grown, the dirt, you know, like kind of, well, not the dirt, the soil. There's a big difference. Thought about Peter Gabriel, right? Digging in the dirt, stay with me, I need support. But no, the soil, really, the soil of his roots. He's showing, like he's got this, like showing me, holding this soil. It's moist. It's not just dirt. Dirt is dry. Soil is nutritious, and soil is the darkness that is creation. You know, kind of, yeah, cool, kind of, yeah, cool. Fuck. Wow, cool. I just can't, like, sometimes the stuff people, like, I don't know if it's even worth trying to explain the process of hearing things or seeing things or knowing things like I do, and how it can be so amazing to be conveying them, and to be able to carry these messages for people, because I am also in awe sometimes of what comes out, or like what's happening or what they say or show me, because it's like just as bewildering to me as it would be to listen to it. And so I'm kind of just grateful that anybody would be interested in the first place, because it is very odd what I do, and it's very uncomfortable for people. And I think death as a topic at all is uncomfortable for people. And so for me to be so familiar with it is unsettling and creepy. And I know that. And so it's nice when people resonate with it and stick around. Thank you all. It's been a slow week, but this has been a consistently better night than the last few that I've done. And I genuinely appreciate it. Whether y'all are interacting, listening, or paying attention, doesn't even matter. The views are encouraging to keep going. So grateful. But yeah, so those were intense. Those were quick. You know, it was like 7 minutes with Bernie, 10 with Robin. They're quicker when I do a lot in the night, but I'm trying to fit so many in a month. I feel like when birthdays come up, we can always like revisit and make it a thing, because I do these readings further and fewer between on like a regular night. But kind of like think it's best for me to keep them short, because they are hitting really hard, like really deep messages, and I feel like I'm connecting kind of like not in a way that's possessive or even a channeled message, but like I'm just talking to them. What would I call that? It's like seeing them, hearing them, receiving. I guess it's receiving messages. I've made these distinctions before. I'm receiving the messages super clearly. It's not channeled. It's not possessed. They kind of knew I was a bit resilient, but it's almost like being able to just go to person. It's really cool. Almost like apparatus in the sense of apparitionist. Okay. I'm great. I'm great. Why do you ask? No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. I am great. But I am cracking jokes because all the in between energy is so wild, right? So I guess we can we can close out with Bob Saget because that came up and it feels like those were the choices of the people on my list. Um, because it's yeah, I will definitely consider that after this little ad break, and then I'll see if I think that's I'm gonna cut it off with Bob Saget and not let anyone else show up or come up because 6 is a lot, even if they're quick. But it is almost more fun when you get the flowing conversations and the back and forth and the connections, comparisons, whatever. It's been super cool, and I find it very insightful, even if no one else did enjoy it. So it's even cooler that people do. So without further ado, this little ad break. Be back in 60 seconds with some Bob Saget, and then we'll be closing out the channeled messages for the evening. Maybe do some tarot, maybe call it. We'll see. So, BRB. Okay, here we go. What's up, everybody? Let's just get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Saget. He definitely has the stand-up vibe going, and he also had very raunchy comedy. And I'm not really sure he had much to say other than, "Wow, cocaine." Yeah, that was the vibe, right? That was the whole thing you were saying earlier. The request. I would have requested it too. Sucks you wouldn't do it. Maybe some other time. Okay, so that heart of mine definitely didn't give out for no reason, right? I somehow also maintained the wholesome family image throughout my career because of one fucking show in the 80s, Full House. And everybody wanted me to be this heroic single dad, nice guy, neighbor with the daughter's sweetness, but goddamn if that's not who I was. I'm a Taurus, I'm villainous, right? That's what you witches say. Okay, so I can't deal with the fact I didn't even care. It's not that I didn't want to live. It's not that I was depressed or suicidal or any bullshit. I had a weak ass heart because of a bunch of fucking drugs in probably too short of an amount of time. Copious amounts, really. Come on. It's who I was as a person, and I never hid it. It's just people denied it. People looked the other way. People wanted to pretend it wasn't happening. And they put me under fire one time, 2 times in like early 2005 or something. There was some controversy in the news, whatever it was, I don't know. But either way, they couldn't take me down. They couldn't undo the Tanner. What's their name? Fred Tanner. Who gives a crap? That's not who I was. I'm Bob fucking Saget. Hi, Dink. We're doing This is my last channel message of the evening. But we can fuck around and do some tarot after. Or if any other comedians show up. I don't want to do any more because 6 is a lot. But it was kind of short and it's a lot of fun. Kind of cute. Yeah, that's so funny. So Bob Saget was our closer tonight. So you're tuning in to Bob Saget with us. 222 on the time. That's so cute. 2 hours, 22 minutes. Yeah, so He's just like, yeah, I don't know. And the reboot was too much. It killed me. You know, it wasn't the drug that killed me. It was the fucking Full House reboot. If I had to go back and be this insufferable Danny Tanner for another goddamn season, I swear to God, I would have just blown my brains out instead. So y'all should be fucking grateful. He's like got drink in his hand, stand up mode. Y'all should be grateful I'm dead. The way that I died, because it was much more peaceful than an outcome of having another fucking season of some tired fucking show doing another goddamn reunion. Here, here. God bless America. That was a fine fucking closer. I loved it. I loved it. That was the moral compass of the evening. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Nobody wants to be held to the legacy of wholesome. It is so endlessly tiring. All of these men stood up and said that, right? And Bernie Mac was the only one who said absolutely never going to be seen as wholesome because you're at least going to put a cigar in my hand. Okay, you're going to let me have my cigar. And that gave him his edge. That made him a true G, really? A true G, really? But yeah, like America's Funniest Home Videos was, it could have been, you know, a little bit, I don't know. How did Daniel Tosh have a career and Bob Saget never got to be that guy, right? Like, that's kind of the whole gist. It's like, people heard his stand up and hated it, and yet they still hired him for his family time bullshit. And it was like, whatever, the money's good, I can do it. Work should feel like work. I'm glad my comedy wasn't more successful because it got to be more fun for me, pretty much. But yeah, that's so fucking funny, dude. That's so fucking funny, and just, oh man, good one. Good, 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 good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Once again, he's newer at being dead, so he didn't really have much to prepare because it's not been very long. But he wished he would have been wearing a different pair of underwear when he died. Because even if you shit your pants or whatever, you want them to look good, I guess, the best they can. So gotta remember to change out your underwear. That's a reminder for everybody because he just wishes he would have. It was embarrassing. There was holes in his underwear when they found him dead. It's like some rich famous guy, right? And he's got holes in his underwear. Can you believe that? Gosh, again, weird details we'll never be able to confirm. Kinda, right? Come to me. I want you to see. I don't know what the words are. I gotta figure it out by tomorrow. Fuck. And I'm already trying to do other songs. Fuck. Bob Saget, you got anything else to say? Just say la vie, baby. Carpe diem, do the dance, whatever the fuck. Play the fiddle. Fuck your pants, whatever. Fuck your what? Your pants. Your pants. What does that even mean? Doesn't matter. Just keep it moving, okay? Um, cool. Okay. He probably could keep going with the little like stand up stuff. Cool. Okay. The Gorillas was probably one of his favorite bands. I don't know why. The Gorillas are insane. Is coming to mind. That song. That's what you do, baby. Hold it down. Yeah, it's almost like Bob Saget is too busy for this in the other realm because he's experiencing things he never did in this life, like go to clubs and dance with his arms up like a white girl. Kind of like being able to do this is exactly what Mac Miller was saying too when I did that channel message a couple weeks ago. He was day 2 or 3, day 3, um, where he was like pretty much saying the same thing. He got to experience a bunch of things he missed in life that he either didn't have the time or opportunity to do when he was still alive, or turned down out of fear of what people would think. And that's where Bob Saget's moving into that realm of like, this new reality is kind of cool. You can be wherever, whoever you want at all times. You can project in this girl's mind as a comedy club, or you can be at a dance club and have your arms up singing the Gorillas. And you can go 10, 100 million miles an hour and feel like you didn't even leave the place you're in. Okay, like it's just everything's bending and it's cool. It's like a holding room where you decide what you're gonna do. You're gonna reincarnate. You're gonna get back in. You're gonna fight the good fight. You're gonna be there for the apocalypse. You're gonna party a little bit longer, wait for your people to catch up before you move on to the next realm, dimension, whatever is on the other side of those doors, which is probably different for everyone, you know. One man's idea of hell is another man's idea of heaven. Because I'll tell you what, I was not a very good person, and I am loving the place I'm in. Fucking cheers. Bob Saget was a great closer. They were right. They were fucking right about that. Goddamn, he's fucking funny, right? Kind of funny. Holy shit. That's so great. He's like, I didn't really smoke weed, but if you ain't gonna do any cocaine, you better pack a fresh bowl for me. And that is totally fair. He's telling me that you're watching. Just saying. Well, he confirmed it. I already kind of knew that. Oh, goodness gracious. Great balls of goddamn fire. Cool. I'm gonna light another incense and get us in like the zone. Okay. Cool. What? I'm getting weird advice about that situation. Okay. I'm gonna go. I guess since it's like the last week of Libra season, I'm gonna go with Libra. Bum, 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 bum. I found a reason to be happy. And the reason is you. Bum, 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 bum. So come to me. You are what you believe. I don't know. I don't know the words, god damn it. I should. I'm kind of over the channel readings. I think I want to hang out with y'all for a bit. Let's pack this bowl for Bob Saget and close out and ask everybody's last opinions, words, and anything, so we can do something else for the evening. How's everybody's Saturday night going? One more Saturday, one more Saturday, one more Saturday night. But Leo is watching and wants me to fix my hair. I wasn't gonna say anything, but I'm a Leo. Blah, 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 blah. Just kidding. This is for everyone. This is particularly Bob Saget, but also for everyone who came to join us tonight. Betty White, Joan Rivers, Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, Bernie Mac, and Bob Saget. Very cool, very fun night. Thank you for the comedy, for the comments, for the camaraderie, for the evening, for the banter, the wisdom. above all things, right? So cheers, because they all really wish there was cocaine, but instead we have bombers. Yeah, I'm gonna move on to some other readings tonight, I think, if y'all are down. Ladies and gentlemen, anything else that any of them have to say? Richard Pryor, be yourself. Kind of wishes he would have acted more on his bisexuality and pursued a relationship with a man, very specifically, probably Lionel Richie, because I still see his face. Be yourself. He probably never came out, was not comfortable with it, but there was always a vibe. Okay, they made that fucking whole album together. It was a beautiful night. Just, God. Don't know why he's so hung up on that. Not sure if it's true. Maybe it's like an inside joke. Who knows? We'll never know the truth. But be yourself is the ultimate thing. It's just explore all forms of your identity and any of your urges, without being super impulsive. Just kind of try to embrace whatever it is that you want or what it is that you desire, because we see how repressing those feelings can really bottle them up and make them horrible and seek hatred, okay? It seeks hatred. So kind of gotta just be yourself. That's Richard Pryor's advice. Anybody else? Betty White, kind of same thing. Be yourself, because, like she said, she was lovely in her youth, but she was destined to be an old lady, and she lived to be 99 years old because she turned 1,000 instead of 100. Love that. Okay. Her youth was in her old age. Okay, and in her youth was her old age, and that goes both ways. She was very youthful in her old age, but in her youth she also was of old age. Could not be better destined. That's why she died, born and died in Capricorn season. Fulfilled her life purpose completely. Loved. 10 out of 10. Loved it. Okay. Any other advice or final words? Robin Williams. It's just theater. And you're all practicing for something much greater than this. So never forget that life is coming for you, and to just embrace it. Okay, it's beautiful. What you're doing is just incredible, and you gotta just keep going no matter what. Okay? Very, very romantic gestures almost with that, like a very hold your face kind of thing. I feel like that's something he really, really liked to embrace people when he spoke to them, because it sinks in more. It's sweet as fuck. Thank you. Any other words, parting words? Bernie Mac. Oh, he's more I said what I said. And make sure to have a good time. Always have a good time. Before you get anywhere in life, you gotta make sure you're gonna have a good time when you arrive. Okay, yeah, have a good time. Thank you. Okay, and Bob Saget, any closers? Nope, just fuck the world. Do your own. Mind your own. Be your own. Free will is awesome. Okay, no contracts for life. No contracts that are for life. If you gotta have a contract, whatever, make sure that shit expires on your soul. Okay. Cool. Thank you. That was such a good night, actually. That's the thing. It feels like they're talking to me for so long, and it ends up only being a few minutes. It's crazy. Like, and some of the readings are really long, and it feels like 5 minutes. Like, time just doesn't work any certain way, right? Oh, now it's like smoke sesh vibes. Everybody's kind of chilling, vibing. They're like, thanks for inviting us. Thanks for hosting. Like, it's fucking weird and cool where you can just kind of play around in space time, where it's like, yes, if it was ever alive, it can become alive again. And I might sound like Frankenstein, but at least I am a scientist, right? Okay? I kind of do think very Theoretically, always, and that's why I like to try to establish some kind of connection for on a personal level, so that we just know where I'm at with it, in a sense. But it's not always 100. If it, God, I'm splitting. What is that? Who is that? John Lennon. Annoying that he would interrupt, but it was chain of thoughts just now. Someone? Okay, get this. I don't know why this just came. It was like a flash. Not necessarily a flashback, unless, oh, maybe never mind. Okay, I'm gonna roll the ad while I try to process kind of what just happened and decide if I should be sharing or not. Shady if I don't, right? Kind of sketchy. Gonna figure it out. I'm gonna put it in words. You're better than words. You're more than a feeling. So crazy in love. I'm dancing on the ceiling. Yeah. I'm gonna keep that shit to myself, probably. I think a personal moment happened. It was kind of crazy, though. Whoa. Okay, let's apply it to the general collective so I can explain what just happened. Did you hear me shout, I'm splitting? That was wild, right? I guess, you know what? We might delve in a little bit to this story that happened that I started telling a few weeks ago. Kind of never went back to it, said we'd address it Halloween, November time, you know what I'm saying? But something's telling me that now is like not. This is the time and this is the record of the time, right? Now it's not the time, but this is the record of the time. Like, kind of crazy. So, there are certain phenomenons that are happening in the world right now where, like, people are crusading again, essentially. They are driving hard for their campaigns. They're split politically, they're split socially, they're split economically, even worse than anything, right? And they try to focus on all these other splits, sexuality, identity, blah, 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 because they don't want you to see disparity amongst classes right now. Okay, they literally are like, look at something else. Why is everything becoming unaffordable randomly, suddenly? Kind of like, what? How do you explain that? You're claiming we're back in full production post COVID and this is the results of your pandemic. What did you do and what does it mean and why is it happening? Because there's obviously something more to this story that we're not really seeing. Because I think really take it as a lesson to shake your broke mentality, because why do these people have so much and we have so little? It is kind of time to rise up, but in the way that you elevate your own mind, to elevate your own life, and you go along the way. Okay, some people you go with, You can't take anyone with you, but you can go with them. You can walk a path together and do things in tandem with one another, but you can't necessarily force anyone or drag anyone along, right? But if two people want the same thing and are going in the same direction, you absolutely can do them together. Come on. Come on. Is that. God, what is this? What is this? That was so weird. It's like this weird feeling. I kind of know, like, I am presenting something. Presenting ideas? Somebody's presenting ideas. What, these? Trying to prove something to someone right now? Cool. Yeah, what do you want? I don't know. It's, oh man, that was a hard split, right? Because I think we're splitting into different timelines or something. It's like the merging of worlds or some kind of traffic going on, and I kind of want to continue with the stream, and I also kind of need a second to recover from whatever the fuck that was. It was weird, right? I think it's growth, though. I think it's almost like a good thing. It's just the spiritual journey is such a personal one, and I'm at an impasse being sort of a spiritual teacher when I not only just like still learn lessons, but also can sort of take time to digest them or develop what they mean further to share. So right now it's still happening, but it's happening live. It's happening like, in the moment. And it's crazy because, once again, I don't want to shy away and just end it. But man, I just got this crazy feeling in my head, like, and, like, it was maybe a cross between deja vu or a flashback because it aligned with some injuries that I have, or a similar delusion that I saw 3 years ago, or not even saw but felt. Okay, so I guess maybe this is the time to delve into it, I guess. This seems weird. I had a trigger warning last time because it gets so graphic and violent, but maybe we don't need one. Maybe the thing is, it's like, no, I don't know. I feel like I should have a trigger warning if I'm going to talk about these things. It's just weird that, oh my God, where do I even draw it all from? And it just, I kind of feel like, let's keep it light tonight and let's use analogies, right? I'm going to say American Horror Story. I think I'm always going to go back to American Horror Story. I think it's actually horrifying how much of it aligned with my life, because I didn't realize that my life was as horrific as it was until that show became my comfort show for literal personal reasons. The way it aligns with every fucking year and concept, like, I am in awe of it. And in no way paranoid or delusional about it, but like, I absolutely love it, and it's a great reference. It almost makes me want to cry right now for some reason. It's a great reference to the way I feel from, the in less personal things to, I don't know, season 7 was a trip, right? Like, that was basically, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but that was pretty much my hometown, and I can't go down that rabbit hole right now. Because it's wild. But if I could only pick and choose the things to show you in time to continue that story, there's so many references that can be made, so many big details that it's not like reenactments. It's like, oh my God, they kind of did know what they were talking about when they wrote it. Or, it's like, I feel like creatives don't sometimes realize that they channel entities or whatever, and it's so possible to connect to greater water or some squid or another, and get kind of like the same download as maybe someone else. Or, for example, one person gets it as a concept for a story and another has to live it out. Kinda, right? Like, stranger than fiction, you know? Who knows? I have zero theories, but I guess, God, there was a weird way for me to take this. Because, like, once again, I feel like a trigger warning is more appropriate in case people walk in on me saying something super fucking graphic. And I didn't mentally prepare for that kind of night. I don't think anybody else was expecting that kind of night, but I'm not really getting the call to do tarot lately. I'm sick of streaming. That's the thing. I guess I can sit here and talk and be social, but to keep doing these readings for these essentially low wages is, I don't know. I got more personal bookings when I didn't do this, so might have to take a break from the stream soon. I don't know. Like maybe just a break from tarot streaming. If any, I mean, it seems like people don't mind when I talk, but like right now, I have no idea what the vibe is. People probably falling asleep to my channel is mostly the vibe. So like, yeah, who gives a shit what you're saying? I'm listening to your soothing ass monotone voice to put me to bed right now. Cool. I love that. Sometimes that's just the hours, right? How many hours are in a day, and is it the same amount for everyone? Because if someone runs on a different kind of schedule or clock, or once again, time being as radial as its figurehead, the hands of seconds, of minutes. Cool, just waxing poetry. Like, do we want tarot cards? Was I being too bitchy? Cool. Perhaps everyone's tired. You know, maybe I'm inspired to go work on some stuff. Might be inspired to go work on some stuff. Kind of feels like it's not super late, but I did what I was gonna do here. I did the whole comedy show, and I don't feel like doing more tarot. Ain't nobody bullshit with me. This Saturday, I'm gonna go enjoy my life. So, cool, glad, love it. Thanks for tuning in. I am just gonna go. I think. I love you all so much. Catch the replay. It's been a great night. I got to talk to some really cool people. I'm not gonna overexhaust myself because tomorrow we've got a whole damn lineup for Nico's birthday. And I'm so excited, and I kind of want to go smoke a clove already because it's after midnight in most time zones, and technically the 16th, and it is my goth queen's birthday. Okay, so I love and appreciate you all so very much. Tomorrow, Nico's birthday, Lou Reed. Jimi Hendrix, maybe? Because I was going to say Jim Morrison, but then I was like, oh, Jimmy might show up. And hopefully Freddie comes, and kind of maybe whoever. So we want to have lots of rest here. So yes, we're gonna go crazy. It's gonna start as soon as the clock strikes midnight, I'm sure. So that being said, yeah, I'm gonna roll out with some ads, and I ain't coming back. So I love you all. Thank you for being here. Have a great night. Please tune in tomorrow for Nico's birthday extravaganza. And dress in your best goth, even if I can't see you, right? So, mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you all to pieces. And good night, good luck, good midnight morning, you little folks. Toodaloo. Ooh, I need a good sign off where I can't just like go. It's like terrible, right? I'm ending this stream for whoever just walked in. Watch the replay. Lots of channeled messages, talking to dead people, pulling some tarot cards, shadow self, blah, blah, blah. Kind of weird messages throughout. Gonna go work on some music and be back with a bunch of more channeled messages for Nico's birthday later today / tomorrow. Okay, so thanks for the follows. Love you and good night. Good luck.